Alternative provision would be completely reshaped under the SEND reform proposal, so this is crucial to understand if your child attends alternative provision or is at high risk of exclusion, because these proposals raise major questions about what happens to children whose needs cannot be met in school, short-term or long-term. Question 28 asks, what should the maximum length of time be for alternative provision placement, and asks you to provide a rationale for your answer. And that honestly sounds like a really strange question, but if you look at the proposals, you'll understand why they're asking and why that's really concerning. It talks about greater emphasis being placed on alternative provision doing outreach into mainstream schools and time-limited placements in alternative provision to assess and address needs so that children can go back to mainstream. But if alternative provision is genuinely being used to assess needs, stabilise a placement, provide therapeutic support or help transition a child back into education, why would there ever be an arbitrary time limit? The time needed for this will vary massively between children. Some children may need a very short intervention and then they can go back. Others may need much longer, or there simply isn't a suitable placement available for them. They do say long-term placements will be possible, but only if a child needs a specialist provision package commissioned in the alternative provision school, and such placements will focus on supporting pupils into a more sustainable educational placement. They say they will regulate non-school alternative provision and then strengthen safeguards by ensuring those pupils remain on a school roll, and local authorities will be responsible for quality assuring them against new national standards. So this is another example where the government intends to streamline the system, moving away from supporting individual needs. And as we know, that has consequences for children reaching their potential and the support that they need for the rest of their lives. This is particularly worrying for families whose children currently cannot access anything other than alternative provision, because for some children this is not a short-term intervention while they wait for the perfect plan or placement. It is the only thing enabling them to access education at all. The concern is that instead of fixing gaps in specialist and mainstream provision, alternative provision becomes a revolving door where children are moved on as soon as their needs reduce or stabilise, and that will lead to more failed placements. So this seems completely counterintuitive. So again, the question is wrong. They should be asking, is a time limit a good idea, so that you can tell them why it absolutely isn't. So for question 28, I don't think anyone responding could come up with an answer to how long it should be that has any basis in reality. And that's what I'll be saying. Up next, I'll be looking at the changes to independent specialist schools, which are also really concerning. They would see significant changes under these proposals. So follow if you want to see that when it's posted, or check my YouTube playlist, which has all the videos in order so you can watch them as you go through the form. The link for that's in my bio.